Hello there guys, and welcome to another episode of Elite Racing Cup. Today it's round 17 here at Singapore. So I was expecting that in that circuit it was going to rain, but well, you know why I was just thinking, because in Singapore sometimes it rains, sometimes not. So I decided to just choose the softer tire allocations. But unfortunately, as you could see, I saw in the weather forecast that it was going to be dry all the sessions and all the time. So, yeah, unfortunately, I don't know if I have to risk it. And well, let's hope that we don't need two mediums, because I just have only one medium. But at least we can just do 3 qualifying laps with all those 3 soft tires. And remember that the fourth soft tire, it's saved for the race. So, well, let's head for the flying lap. So, here we are, beginning our flying lap, and it was a bit of a scare about that thing, because I just left the track and I thought the lap was going to be invalidated, but fortunately it didn't get invalidated, and into turn 3 we just went wide a little bit, because we just locked up a bit our brakes. Then came to turn 5, I think so. We just did it decently to corner, we just touched the apex, and here we are once again doing the steering wheel glitch. I don't know how it is fixed, or if fixed something of the game, or I don't know. So, well, let's see. Have to deal for the rest of this year, so that's just very unfortunate. And here we are heading into turn 10. We're gonna do this very well. Let's see if we can do this thing very well. I think so. Then heading to turn 11, then to turn 12. We're just being a little bit careful, because I don't wanna spin and ruin my lap. So, although you might be a little bit merciful in this first flying lap, but if you just do this thing again in the second flying lap, and then at the third flying lap, the final one, well, you just felt like you did this dog. And that's the thing I just did into turn 6, 14 or 15. So I don't know how the corners are named, or which are the corners. But oh yeah, we just caught the 20th corner, I think so. And here we are. And worst of all, I just got the 22nd corner, and that made that I couldn't do the next lap count because it got invalidated. So yeah, we need to go for the garage, and let's wear new soft tires, and let's go for another flying lap. So heading for another flying lap. This time we do the last 2 corners very good, and we just now improved like a half a tenth of a second. Then heading to turn 1, we see like we just think a bit of a dirty error, because Inmore is right behind us. Then heading to turn 4, we see that Inmore is letting us pass. That's very good. Then heading to turn 5, we're just doing it very greatly. Now we're improving like 4/10 of a second, almost half a second. Then heading to turn 6, we're just going to break into turn 7 into that, well, I don't know how to name that thing, but then heading to turn 8, we're just doing those corners so good that we have already improved by 6/10 of a second. So heading to turn 9, we're just like improving some bits of a second. Then heading to turn 10, very great, made those corners into turn 11, then 12, turn 13, braking very smoothly. Now have improved like 7/10 of a second, 8/10. Then heading to turn 14, we're just going to brake like right after the 100-meter braking point mark, and then we just seeing that we have already improved like 8/10 of a second. Then heading to turn 16, we're just going the corners very greatly. Then to turn 18, turn 19, let's see how much, 1.1 seconds. That's just a lot of time improving. Then heading to turn 21, let's see if we can do this correctly into the last 2 corners. How much we can improve? 1.2 seconds. and the lap time will be a 1:37.621, which puts us into provisional pole position, which is very good for us. Let's see if tomorrow will beat us, or else we might have to be very fast and really aggressive those corners and having very risky in the final lap. So well, let's see if we can do this thing. So let's go to the garage, wear new soft tires, and leave the garage, and let's go for out lap and then getting to the flying lap. So then, after just wearing my third set of soft tires, we're just getting prepared to leave the garage and heading to the third flying lap. I was seeing in the leaderboard that Tamal has just beaten me by almost 4/10 of a second, so I need to be way better than Tamal in order to get pole position. So we need to be really aggressive, and let's pray that Tamal doesn't improve even more, because I think he might be on another lap. So let's leave the garage and we need to heat up the tires. So heading to turn 1, we just, oh no, we just damaged our front wing after we just crashed the wall, and unfortunately we don't have more time to just go to the garage and get ready for another flying lap. So unfortunately qualifying is over for us, and let's pray that no one beats me so I can still be on the front row. So here is the results. While I think he didn't improve his lap time, so although he maintains his pole position, well, I didn't lost any positions after my retirement from qualifying, and I just qualifying in the front row. Well, Dorm and Santi occupies the second row, THR second row lockout. Then Stracamillion and Saxi both occupies 5th and 6th position respectively. Alpha and Valiant occupies the 4th row, THR 4th row lockout. Martin the Iceman occupies the 5th row, while my teammate Inmore is outside of the top 10. Then Bernie, Crester Chetos, and Blood, and the others who just qualifying very low that are very irrelevant. So, well, let's get into a race, guys. So, the strategy of the race will be a default hard-medium strategy, so, well, I'll just start with hard tires and hope there's no safety car in the early stages of the race, so I don't need to use 2 mediums because I just only have 1 medium. So I just have to pray to God that that safety car comes out in the second half of the race in order to box for mediums and get, well, that's my only medium. So, and also I just lowered my fuel up to 53 kilograms in order to conserve my tires a bit, in case that I have to go into the mediums for a lot of laps, and just in case there's safety car, in order to not be at the end of the race with a lot of fuel. So, well, let's get into a race. No changes of the setup, so, well, let's get into a formation lap. So, getting prepared for the formation lap, let's just make a practice start. We're just going to start when the lights are turned green. No, I mean when Tamal gets his start. And we see that Santi has returned to this league after getting banned permanently. I think they just took away their ban and they allow him to race here. So, well, I think that penalty that he received in Austria wasn't worth it, and meanwhile we are just heating up the tires, and Tamal is very far away from us, but that doesn't matter. Instead, it will cost us a lot. Well, he will cost him a lot, because when he parks away and so he has to wait a lot of time in order to the tires be parked, and that means that the tires will be way colder than our tires. So yeah, we have to heat up our tires, and in order to have a good race start, we need to have our tires very heated up, and we just started to heat up our tires and we just spun. But fortunately, this is the formation lap, so we don't have nothing to worry about that thing. We just, as long as we don't crash in between each other, everything is looking good. So, well, we just heating up the tires, and well, let's just park up a grid slot, and we're just going to point with Tamal. So, well, we have pointed with Tamal a little bit slack, but here we are, beginning the race, beginning the Singapore Grand Prix League Racing Cup. We're just waiting for more people to park their grid slot in order to begin the race. So the 5 red lights are going to be on. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5 red lights are turned on, and it's lights out, and away we go. That's a decent start for us, but the one had a greater one, and we just get into turn 1, being a bit cautiously, but Santios takes us dive bombing us, and we just have to run wide, and unfortunately we just lost second place. So Santi has just taken me by a dive bomb, and I decided to leave the track in order to not end up in a crash, but that's just very terrible. I was just not trying to overtake Santi and not spend all of my ERS, just conserving my fuel. So, well, let's see if we can pressurize Santi and make him make a mistake. So, well, let's see if Santi is going to fight with Tamal, and indeed it is happening, because on lap 2 we are seeing that Santi is just fighting for the lead of the race, and he's just trying to overtake Tamal around the outside into turn 5. Let's see if he can do this thing. No, he can't, but he just presses the throttle to everything and he just spun! And we are now into second position, so it's time to catch Tamal and maybe overtake him, and we're going to be on the lead of the race. Yeah. So, well, let's catch Tamal, and we need to be at a great pace, and also we need to conserve our fuel. So, well, unfortunately the gap is just being a bit stable, so Tamal is dominating the race, and we just set the fastest sector 1. So yeah, we're just going a bit fast, and a little bit smooth and fast, not so aggressive, still conserving the fuel, I think so. But the gap is just being increasing by 17 tenths of a second. So, well, let's see if we can reduce that gap, and we're just seeing that Tamal has just being a little bit slow into those corner exits, and we see that he just got a turbo exit into turn 14, and the gap is now 1.1 seconds, now 1 second, less than a second. So let's see if we can have DRS, then get into turn 18, then into turn 19. Let's see if Tamal gets a good exit, decently exit. So, well, let's get into turn 21, let's see if Tamal it's getting a greater exit than myself. So heading to the last corners, let's see if we can get DRS, and I set the fastest lap of the race, lap 3, DRS is now enabled. Let's see if we can have great exits and get the DRS, and we see that Tamal is getting a bit slow into those corner exits, and we see that we have already been into the DRS zone, so that's pretty good. So then let's activate the DRS, and let's see if we can reduce the gap so much that we can have chances to overtake Tamal. Well, no, we can't, but still we get the fastest sector 1, and the gap is now like 7 tenths of a second. So, well, let's see if we can maintain that gap or even reduce it. So the gap between Tamal and myself was getting up and down, but still I couldn't reduce that gap in order to fight Tamal for the lead of the race. So that means that the battle has been over, and unfortunately I just got the turn 16, and safety car is down deployed because Osvaldo is now out of the race. I think he just made a terrible turn 13, I think so, and crashed into a wall and got his car stuck into the wall, well, into the middle of the track, and so safety car is now in, safety car is out. So we need to tap the tires, and let's see if we can do a quick relaunch when safety car ends. So safety car is in this lap, very long way to go until lap 7. So we're just heating up the tires, and oh yeah, update. Doro and Valiant box for, and also Santi box for new tires, I think for hearts. So the Iceman and Bernie is now in 3rd and 4th position. Anymore, my teammate is in 5th position. So let's watch out for them, because they might be fast, but I don't think they might be so fast, because as I saw during the last races, they were very slow. So nothing to worry about them. So safety cars in this lap. We need to target. We need to aim to overtake them all in order to get the race lead and maybe win the race. So safety cars in this lap. Safety cars ending, and unfortunately our rear tires are getting so cold because we didn't have the tires, and we see that the man is cleaning up the tires. That's how our tires are so cold, and we need to be a little bit careful because we might spin because there's no grip available with our hard tires, and we're just getting a little bit of a snap of oversteer because by the muscle memory, I think so. But we are aiming to reduce that gap with them all. 0.4 seconds. Then can to turn 7, and then we just can to turn 8, braking very late and entering the corner very smoothly and not so aggressive in order to not destroy our rear tires. Then can to turn 10, we see that the model is again weaving up a little bit, but still we're still not able to oh man, I just don't know what to say, but was just saying that we cannot just maintain that pace, and unfortunately we got a terrible accident to turn 13, and our gap has been increased by around 0.8 of a second. That's pretty bad. So well, let's go very smooth and fast into those corners. And we see that Jelfax, I don't know who is that Jelfax. We see that there is a McLaren driver who just spun or ran wide into a runoff area, I think so. But well, that's if he doesn't trigger the safety car or virtual safety car, well, that's irrelevant for us. And meanwhile, we're just battling for the lead of the race. Unfortunately, the guy has been too far, and unfortunately we just also ran wide and we received another track limit warning. So if we get one more track limit warning, we may have a 3-second time penalty. So we need to be a little bit careful, and unfortunately that gap hasn't been reducing. So yeah, that means that the one is faster than me. So yeah, that's just very bad then. And still, although I was just performing my best, I cannot catch the mouse, and to make things worse, the gap has been increasing a lot. The gap has been from 1.7 seconds, and then at the end of this lap the gap has now been increased to 2 seconds. That's just extremely bad. Although it could be even worse, because before turn 22 the gap was 2.3 seconds. So we see that Santi has just got the fastest lap, so I just lost the fastest lap. 1 point I just lost, and we see that Black has returned from the race. I think he just crashed into turn 18, and safety car has now deployed after that thing. Well, as a result, I mean. And we see that the field has been bunching up, and that means that we have to heat up our tires. And then the engineer told us that there's a new strategy that we can use, and it was going with mediums to softs. So I decided to go with that strategy, but with some changes. I decided to go with the mediums. I decided to box for mediums, but mediums, and that's it, not for softs. So well, let's see if we can trigger that strategy pretty well. So well, let's hope that this week gets worth it. So here we are going to focus for medium tires, and we see that the man is going to stay out with the hard tires, as well as Storm and Ilmor, my teammate, and Valiant and Saxi and Santi. So I'll be dropped into 7th position. So well, let's wait if they box for medium tires when safety car comes out for like another time. Let's see if we can lead this race. if the others go to box with the from hards to mediums. If we get too conservative, we may get this strategy. So better conserve our tires, or else we won't get them into the end of the race when our mediums have already reached into the tire cliff, or even have punctured them. Then we have to stop for soft tires, unless there's another safety car at the end of the race. That will change extremely a lot of things strategically. So, well, let's see if we can conserve our mediums. But well, let's punch up the field and well, let's heat up our tires. So our field is now bunched up, so we just have to heat up our tires into 80 degrees, and we see that someone has already stopped it, and we just need to stop it. Unfortunately, we just accidentally pressed the neutral gear, and unfortunately we just lost 2 positions. That should be very illegal to do that thing, although Struck has ceded us our position, but still that is very illegal, because he just stopped us, and we just had to stop, and someone decided to, 2 of them decided to take advantage in that way and go for and to overtake us, and the game thinks it was legal because we were just too slow, but this should be legal. The driver who caused it should be under investigation, should have handed a penalty. So the Iceman overtook me. That should be illegal according to the league steward. So he might be under investigation. He cannot be cut off very easily without any consequences. So he has to be penalized. But well, let's see if the stewards have taken note of that thing. So well, the other thing we have to do is just hit up our tires and wait until safety car ends. So safety cars in this lap. So we're just heating up our tires, although unfortunately we aren't heating enough because our rear tires are like 77% below the optimal temperature, and here we are having a decent relaunch. That wasn't very bad, still wasn't so good, although we didn't lose any places nor gain any positions. But here we are almost spinning to turn 1, and we're just seeing that Stocky Milling was almost trying to overtake me around the outside to turn 3, but here we are going to see if someone makes a mistake and almost overtakes us into turn 5. We see that Santispan and Imor make contact with him, and we somehow managed to be without having any damage. We somehow managed to escape from that situation. Like I was literally millimeters of touching the wall between. Oh my goodness me, that was just pretty great save, because it was a gap. There was a lot of gap, and we're just trying to overtake the Iceman down the inside to turn 10, but we didn't do this thing because it would be a terrible and pretty dumb overtake, and instead we're just going to lose a lot of seconds. So we need to be in that position. We need to be a little bit fast, but then Stocky Million is just trying to overtake us down the inside to turn 14, and we just tried to do a switch back, but unfortunately we couldn't do this thing. We just cut the corner again, and we just had a 3-second time penalty. Oh man, I wasn't so careful about that thing, and oh my goodness me, I had snap of oversteer into turn 18 exiting that corner, and hope we're not getting overtaken by Retro Storm into lap 13. We see that Struck has gotten wide, but let's see if we can re-overtake him. But I don't know, I'm really in doubt of it, because he's just pretty fast, and a little bit of oversteer to turn 3 exiting that corner. We see that Struck is just trying to overtake the Iceman, but the Iceman surprisingly is making a good performance. So well, we just underestimated him. He's fast. He's faster than the previous races. So that means that we're just getting near them, and well, let's see if we can overtake them into those further laps. So then, heading into the final corners, coming to lap 14, we see that there's yellow flags, and that means that Britain is now out of the race after crashing into the turn 18 outside wall. So that means that yellow flag is now on, and DRS is now enabled. So we can overtake it. Oh my goodness, we can overtake Stock Chameleon if it wasn't by that safety car that is just has been triggered because of that crash caused by Bernie. So we just almost rear-ended him. We were almost rear-ended him. Almost. Oh my goodness. If I would react like 400ths of a second, I would crash with him and get a 5-second time penalty, because sometimes if the collision was too strong, they might hand you a 5-second time penalty during the safety car. So yeah, that would be very terrible, and we will be accumulated 8 seconds. So yeah, we might be a little bit careful into those situations. So fortunately it didn't happen, nothing wrong happened. So yeah, we just have punched up that field, and we're just heating up our tires. So while we were heating up the tires and the field has been bunching up, we see that some of the drivers has just spun, and one of them was Balian, and we just gained 1 position, but we see that the S1 truck has just stopped. What were we doing? And we just think that they were just stopping in order to see their positions to Balian. That wasn't pretty expecting, but I don't know, I cannot judge about that thing. I don't know, maybe good, it may be bad, I don't know. But they were afraid that they would hand penalties because the stewards will apply them, but the game didn't apply them, but instead the stewards will apply them, or is it because their hearts are pretty big there and decided to see their positions, because he didn't deserve to lose those positions because he just spun. But well, I don't know, we cannot ask him, we cannot judge them by that reason. So well, let's just heat up our tires and let's see when safety car is going to end. So safety cars in this lap, so we might have to heat up our mediums, and unfortunately once again we couldn't heat up enough to reach into optimal temperature. But still, I don't know if we can get a decent relaunch. I think so. I think we're just getting a decent grid, so I think relaunch, and let's see if someone makes a mistake and head to turn 1 and then to turn 2, then turn 3. Nothing is happening, and we just think that we just pressed the throttle too early and we just almost spun. But fortunately, with that, oh my goodness, we see that Stock was just trying to overtake the Iceman. That was the inside to turn 5, and the Iceman closed in the door, and they both crashed, and Stock has just spun, and that gave me 6th position. Well, I was just saying that save I had into turn 3, I mean, was just pretty great save. And we see that Brian has been spun because he crashed with Saxi while fighting for the podium position. We're now in the 5th position. So, well, let's see if the Iceman can catch Saxi and they may crash with each other. So I might have 3rd position. So, and we see that Saxi is got a terrible turn 13 exit, and we see that the Iceman is just trying to overtake Saxi down the inside into turn 14. He will do. No, he didn't, because Valiant's out of the race and safety car is now in. And oh no, my goodness me, the Iceman has just crashed with Saxi. We are in the okay now. We see. Oh my goodness me, Saxi just crushed the Iceman, and we see. What are you doing? What are you doing, Iceman? What are you doing? Oh, what are you just pushing me to the inside? You just almost pushed me into the wall. That was just a lot of controversy into safety car. That was the worst polemics I've ever had in all of this league. That was just terrible. And worst of all, it was during safety car. So yeah, that was just terrible. And the Iceman once again rear-ended up Saxi. So and most of them boxed for mediums, I think so, and that means that I'm officially leading the race. That is pretty good. Well, I'm not leading the race because I have the 3-second time penalty, so I need to be 3 seconds behind, ahead of Storm in order to be leading the race officially. So, well, let's get up our mediums and let's lead that field, and let's see when the safety car ends. So, safety car is in this lap, safety car is in this lap. We're just heating up our tires and we're leading the field. So, if we get a terrible relaunch, we might lose the lead of the race. So, we have to do a great relaunch in order to stay in the lead of the race, and that no one dares to overtake me or do a dive bomb. So, we have to heat up our tires very good, but unfortunately our tires aren't heated up so well that those tires are below the optimum temperature once again. So yeah, we have to pray that no one dares me to dive bomb me down the inside or around the outside in turn 1, so we can aim to in lap 20. We see that we've done a great relaunch and no one has dared to overtake me. So we're handing up the lead race, so we have to be like 3 seconds ahead of Storm in order to take officially the lead of the race and win the race. So let's see if we can do this thing. Now it's 1 second and we see that Stock has overtaken Storm, so that means that we need to be really fast because you know that Stock Million is very fast. So yeah, I think that might be that quest into an impossible quest because Stock Million is faster than me. So yeah, that's just going to be the impossible quest. I've been repeating this a lot of times, so yeah, I have to be really fast in brief words. So yeah, that's the thing I'm not doing because the gap has just been up and down, but still is going down instead of up. So yeah, we have to be a lot careful with overtaking with the corner exit I mean, and we need to defend like crazy but still clean, so we won't hand up a penalty or crash with Struck and make me spin. So well, let's see if we can do this thing. So then heading to lap 22, we see that Tamal got a 3-second time penalty after covering the 16th corner, and we set the fastest lap of the race. That's pretty good, still with those used mediums, and DRS is now enabled. So I'm in real danger of getting overtaken by Stock Million because it's now like 8 tenths of a second, although the gap has been maintained like the same, but still he can be very fast and even faster than in the straights. And he's just going to massacre me. He's just going to destroy me. But we see that Tamal is just going to instead overtake Stock Million into that straight and dive bomb into turn 7. And well, let's see, we have to defend even crazier and be a lot faster because Tamal is way faster than Stock Million and he's just faster than me. So yeah, I need to be real crazy. So I just need to get more fastest lap of the race, and I have to go with those corners perfectly in order to not be overtaken by Tamal, although the gap has just been like stabilized a bit. But I don't know if if this thing will last forever until the end of the race. So we need to be really fast, and we see that the gap has been just reducing or increasing, I don't know, but we're seeing that it has been like ups and downs, but I think it's just been decreasing more than increasing. So we need to be a lot faster and go into those corners perfectly. But unfortunately, I'm not doing those things because yeah, I just feel a little bit pressurized, and Tamal sets the fastest lap. That's just pretty terrible, and we need to defend like crazy. And heading to turn 2, we see, and then to turn 3, we have to go with those corners perfectly. And oh, I think we are not doing that thing. And we see that Thorn has set the fastest lap, and he's now in the 5th position, and we need to defend like crazy because in that straight he will have a lot of DRS, and we need to defend like crazy, but still a lot cleaner because we don't want to end up with a crash. And then heading to turn 8, and we see that Tamal is not planning to overtake us. But then heading to turn 9, we see that Tamal might have a great exit, and I don't know, I think he didn't, or he just didn't have a terrible exit. But then he turned the way. Oh no, we just can't get rear-ended by him, and we just dropped into 3rd position. That's just terrible, and we need to catch Struck and beat 3 seconds ahead of him in order to get 2nd place and then overtake Tamal, which is now impossible because I don't know, maybe Tamal will be a lot faster with the clean air and may dominate the race, but that is terrible, and we just being rear-ended by Tamal heading to turn 10. I think he just braked too late, or I just braked too early, I don't know, but I think he just misjudged my braking. So yeah, that's just pretty terrible, and by that thing we're now to 3rd position, and that's just pretty terrible. Oh my goodness, that's just terrible, but still we need to catch Stock a Million in order to have chances to get into 2nd position. Then heading to lap 27, although I just ran wide into the final corner previous lap, we see that Stock a Million has just got a 3-second time penalty because he just ran wide entering turn 5. I think he just accumulated his 3rd warning of track limits, and he has now a 3-second time penalty. Meanwhile, I was just saying that we just ran wide and we just got our 4th track limits warning. So yeah, that's just terrible, and we just did a terrible entry at turn 8. We just went too deep, and then the gap has now turned into like 2.6 seconds. So if we didn't have the penalty, we will still finish 2nd, but winning the race is now turned into an impossible situation because look how it's Tamal dominating the race. Look how it is dominating the race. Look at the gap, 10 seconds now. That's just impossible to catch him. So well, we might have to come forward with the 2nd position. So we need to be really fast in order to overtake Stock a Million into those straights or in any corner when he just takes a terrible exit, and we just go for a gap with it. So then heading to lap 29, we're now less than a second behind Stock a Million, and we just have to get the great exit heading to turn 5, and we think we had a decent exit, but unfortunately I was so far that I couldn't overtake Stock a Million, and I had to manage my ERS because I need to get the ERS for the final 2 laps, and also my tires are being worn out, so I have to be really fast and be also conservative because I don't know if those mediums will last for the final laps. I don't know, we may have a puncture in the final lap of the race, and we might lose the 3rd position, and I hope this doesn't happen to me in the final lap of the race, and we just have DRS once again into that straight, but it doesn't matter because that straight is too short to overtake him, and that means that our chances to overtake him has now gone for at least this lap of this race. So well, we need to head into lap 30, but still we need to get with that gap maintained or even get reduced with that gap because we have to get with those corners perfectly and get a turn 5 pretty greatly in order to have chances to overtake him into the straight. So then heading to lap 30, came to the last 2 corners. DRS is now wide open. We just going to reduce that gap, and lap 30 is now here. We're now going to get to the first 5 corners perfectly, so we can have chances to overtake him into that straight. Unfortunately, Stock a Million had the greater exit into those corners, and unfortunately we cannot have chances to overtake him, but still I decided to just exploit that slipstream and deploy all of our ERS, but we were trying to dive up him into turn 6, but we couldn't do this thing, and we have to cut the corner or else we might end up rear-ending him. So yeah, that's just pretty terrible for us, and unfortunately our chances to overtake him has just been very limited and maybe well gone for like a long time ago. So yeah, we have to accept that thing, but still we need to see if there's still chances to overtake him, and we just almost mirrored up him, but unfortunately he's had a greater exit than us, and unfortunately we couldn't have chances to overtake him into that corner. Then heading to turn 15, let's see if Stockamillion locks up the brakes and runs wide into turn 16. Unfortunately he didn't run wide, so he's just doing those corners perfectly. He's just handling well the pressure. Good job for him, but still we need to go very fast into those corners in order to have chances to overtake him into a final lap. Unfortunately we had a terrible exit into turn 21 and the DRS is wide open, although we have that main straight left one last chance to overtake him. Can we achieve that thing? Let's see if we can do this thing. We're just aiming to get a great exit to turn 5, then aim to overtake Stockamillion. And heading to turn 5, we're just having a decent exit still, but then the RS is now deployed. I deployed all of my ERS. Unfortunately it isn't enough and we couldn't overtake Stockamillion, although he's just around the way wide and we're just trying to make a switch back, but unfortunately he had a greater exit than me, so that means that all the chances to overtake him are wide gone. Just terrible. That was just terrible. It's Monaco once again. We were aiming to overtake Stockamillion, but unfortunately we couldn't overtake him because the dirty air or our tires or the circuit that wasn't capable to overtake, and we just had a snap of oversteer. The tires cannot handle this anymore. We have no grip. We have no grip left, unfortunately, and yeah, as you can see in the rear right tire we have 72% of wear, and well, we have to come forth in third position unless the Stockamillion gets another 3-second time penalty, which is very unlikely, and we just crash into that wall and to turn 19, but still that doesn't matter because, well, we won't lose that third position. So, well, third place finished. Another podium, although I wanted back-to-back second place, but well, had to come forth with that third place. Next race we can do this thing. We can aim for the win. Let's see if we can do this thing. Well, we just finished the race. Race is now over, so let's get to race results. So Tamal won the race, then Stockamillion finished second, I finished third place, then Tom finished 4th, my teammate Timor finished 5th, we made a 3-5 for Alpine, then Saxi finished 6th, Retro Storm finished 7th, Crester Chetos finished 8th, the Iceman and Valiant both end up the top 10, although Valiant didn't finish the race, so the top 9 just receives points. Although I don't know if they get points still if they didn't finish with that league. So well, let's see if they do. So, and they are as well, DNF obviously. So guys, if you enjoyed this race, well, be sure you leave a like to this video. Feel free to do this thing, and if you want to be a part of the Mexico Balls, you can subscribe to this channel, and also you can turn on the notifications so you won't miss any of my videos. Also, you can just personalize it if you don't want to just appear those notifications of all of my channel content, because they have different content. Also, if you want only with the Formula 1 content, well, you can just do that thing. And also, you can join my Discord server. The link is in the description down below, and also my Twitch link is in the description down below. So have a nice day. Goodbye.